Welcome back to my channel. I'm super excited about today's video. It is my up-to-date launch strategy and how I launch on Amazon. Now, after not only selling for 4 years, but also after coaching over 500 people on a one-on-one level over the past year and a half. So if you're new here, welcome. My name is Sharon Evan and I am a 7-figure Amazon FBA seller. I also speak at many Amazon events and I am a mother, a wife, and also an Amazon FBA coach. I made this channel so I could give value and share information about Amazon and entrepreneurship in general. So if you're interested in that, make sure to hit the subscribe button, the like button, and the notification bell. First of all, it helps the algorithm, it helps me to grow the channel, and also you'll know when I bring out my next videos. So today's video is one of the most sought after videos that I've been asked to make on this channel. This is only a few of my PPC videos. I have a lot of PPC videos. And most of them, some of them were made this year and some of them were made last year. At the time of filming this, I'm filming this in September 2020. And what's happened since I first started making videos and PPC videos especially, and to date, is that I've now coached a lot of people. And it's not that I have a course, although I'm working on a PPC course, but I have actually gone in one-on-one, on a one-on-one level, and actually seen people's business from the inside out. And it's helped me to really get outside of the bubble of just my own products. So that's why I've made this video. It's an updated version to this video here, one of my most watched videos on YouTube. So it's gonna be a long one. I know that it's a long video. The people that will appreciate the content, I know that you'll watch it until the end and it will hopefully help you to understand the logic behind my structures. I focus a lot in this video about explaining to you the reason and the purpose behind what I do, instead of just giving you an exact template of what you should be doing, because every single product is different. Before I do continue, I want you to know that this is a PPC launch video. In order for you to have success in PPC, you also need to have a good product, an amazing listing. And I do speak about that in this video, but I want you to know if you're going to try and launch a product that is not at the level where everyone else at your niche is, or more, it shouldn't be at the level, it should be 10 times more, then it's probably not the right strategy for you. But I hope that you are doing things the way that you should. So for those of you who don't know, apart from YouTube and having my own Amazon FBA Facebook group called Amazon FBA Alphas, I've been featured in many podcasts in and around Amazon and e-commerce, and also spoken at many events. And the reason I say this is so that you know that I'm not just another YouTuber, and I do know a thing or two about Amazon. I'm usually known mostly for the way that I do product research or a PPC. If you don't know, I do have a product research course, and there'll be a link for that below if you're interested in that. Remember, it all starts with a really good product, and then how do you get that product in front of people's faces? So that's why I have a product research and sourcing course. Okay, so what are we going to be speaking about today? Because it's a long video, I want to be able to tell you what we're actually going to be talking about, and if you feel the need, you can fast forward to it. So first, we're going to discuss why Amazon PPC. Why should you even be marketing your product on Amazon? The changes and updates since I made my last year launch PPC video. There's been a lot of updates consistently with Amazon and PPC. My 3-tier keyword strategy and why I work in the way that I do when it comes to PPC. The purpose of each campaign and why it's important that you know the purpose of each campaign. Then we're going to get into my PPC structure for just one product that does not have variations, and then one that does have variations, and then the structure if you also have sponsored brand ads, which means you would be brand registered. We're going to briefly speak about negative keywords as well, bidding strategy, placement, and efficiency, and why efficiency is so important. So this is going to be not like my usual videos. This is more of like a webinar. So I hope that you enjoy the video. And if you're not part of my Amazon FBA Facebook group, I invite you to the group. We have the best FBA group on Facebook. It is called Amazon FBA Alphas. And if you're in need of one-on-one coaching, I do coaching on a one-on-one level, and you can see my website right there. So we're about to get started. I encourage you to pause, go get yourself a glass of water, go get yourself a notepad and a pen because there's going to be so much value in this video. If you have questions, I'm here. I try to answer as much as I can on YouTube. I'm a little bit more active in my Facebook group, therefore I invite you to the Facebook group. And without further ado, let's get into the video. All right, so welcome to the inside of my computer. I have decided to present this in a presentation format because I feel that it is the best way to explain this information. So I do encourage you, if there is a lot of information on the screen, to take a screenshot so that you can go and implement whatever it is that you want to implement. So let's get started. We're going to be speaking about launching with PPC in 2020 and 21. Basically, the reason I put a date to it is because I already have a launch video that I made in 2019. And this is basically an updated video, and you will understand why I'm making an updated video very shortly. Okay, so first of all, why Amazon advertising? There are so many places that you can advertise. Why would you advertise specifically on Amazon when selling on Amazon? So unlike any other advertising platform, Amazon is a shopping platform, and the browsers, meaning the people who are browsing the platform, are shoppers with intent to purchase. I call these hot buyers. They're already looking for a product like ours. They've used a search term to find a similar product. Now we just need to make sure that we are in their face. And that is where PPC comes in, Amazon PPC. So Amazon sponsored ads, or PPC, allows us to be in front of our ideal buyers at the right time from day one. However, if PPC is not understood correctly, it can be extremely expensive. And if you don't know what you're doing, it can even have a negative effect on your product. So that's why I have so many videos about PPC on this channel, and also why I'm making this updated version for the launch video. So you may hear me use the word digital shelving a lot throughout this video. So I just want you to understand the difference in shelves. In a physical store, you have shelves with products on them. But on Amazon, or when you're shopping online, it's not physical shelves, it's digital shelves. And there is only so much room for each product to show per page. We all know that 90%, I don't know the actual amount, I'm just going to say around 90% of the purchases are made on page one. And I don't know the exact amount that I actually made at the top of search, which is this here. Or if it's on mobile, it would be the first sponsored ad and then the rest here. But it's a very high percentage. Most of the sales are made on page one and at the top of page one. And there's only so much room for it. So you'll hear me say digital shelving a lot, and what I am referring to is basically spots on page, whether it be page one, page two, whatever it may be. So take note, you could have the best PPC structure in the world, but if your product and listing is not top notch from the beginning, you will not convert. Not even the most advanced PPC expert can help a quote unquote bad product in the long term. This is a very important point to understand. A lot of people expect to watch videos on YouTube or to be coached by a mentor and think that if they are going to either fix their PPC or help them set it up, it's going to fix the problem if their product isn't good. But if you don't have a good product initially, you haven't differentiated, etc., then no PPC is really going to help you for the long term. In case you didn't know, I also have a product research and sourcing course, and I will put a link for that below if you're interested in joining that course. So many of you may be new to my channel, but a lot of you will be watching this who are already part of my community, which is the Alpha community, Amazon FBA Alphas. So I'd like to speak about some updates since my last PPC launch videos last year. So the first major change, which is like a huge improvement and just amazing in my opinion on Amazon's side, is that they have added in negative product targeting, which is amazing. So you may have heard me say in the past that if anyone tells you to negative exact an ASIN in an auto campaign, stop listening to them, run away, because they don't know what they're speaking about. That was true until last month. Last month, Amazon added in, so last month I'm filming this in September 2020, as in August 2020, Amazon brought out negative product targeting, which means that if you have an auto campaign running and an ASIN that is either irrelevant to you or you know that you can't convert on and it's just going to waste impressions and money, you can now negative target it, which means you're telling Amazon, please don't target this ASIN anymore. So you'd go into your campaign, you'd go into negative targeting, you'll see negative keywords or negative products, and then you can add in the ASIN that you no longer want to target. An amazing update. I think it's very important that they've done this, and if you are running automatic campaigns and you didn't know this, then you should go and optimize. I have a lot of PPC videos, I'll say it again, in this channel, and I'll put a link to my playlist later, and I speak about how to optimize your campaigns. Obviously, the video about how to optimize your campaigns was made over 6 months ago. Therefore, will not include negative targeting ASINs in auto campaigns. But now that you know this, you can just add that to your list. The next thing that Amazon has done is the advertising dashboard has changed. Not for everyone, but for many, many people, it's already changed. So when you go into Seller Central at the top where it says advertising, and then you click on your advertising dashboard, it will, for most of you, by the time you're watching this, no longer stay within Seller Central, but it will take you to the advertising console, which more or less everything is the same there. The only difference is basically the way that we're able to see the dashboard. So maybe you'll be watching an older PPC video and everything won't look exactly the same, but all of the features, nothing has changed, everything's the same. It's just the way that it is presented has changed. Another update is if you have been running or if you are brand registered. First of all, if you don't know, I have a brand registry, 11 marketing features that you should be using video on this channel. I'll put it up right now so that you can make sure that you don't miss that. So if you're brand registered and you're going to be running sponsored brand ads, which you should be, then Amazon has added Store Spotlight, which basically is driving more traffic to your actual Amazon store. And you can also drive traffic to a specific sub page under your store. And video ads has now been open for most people in sponsored brands. If you are brand registered and you don't see the video option, you can just send Amazon or open up a case on Amazon with the advertising department and tell them I'm brand registered and I do not see the brand video option and I would like to make some video ads. Please grant me access to it, and within 2 weeks they should get back to you and give you access to it. Another update is that Amazon has also added in sponsored display ads, also for people who are brand registered, which is for many people an amazing way to really lower your ACOS. And for some people, it's not the best, but I will need to make a different video on that because it's going to be off subject today. All right, and what has changed for me specifically, and why am I making this updated video? So first of all, for those of you who don't know, I've been selling on Amazon since 2016. And in the last year and a half, I also started doing coaching for Amazon sellers, and up to date in the last year and a half I have coached over 500 people. This is not a course that I sold or anything like that. It's literally one-on-one. So I was able to get in and see the reports and see what was happening and really individually understand each person's product, their business, their reports, etc. So I've seen hundreds of products and hundreds of PPC reports. And by coaching so many people and seeing so many products, it's really caused me to realize just how dynamic Amazon is and how every product really is unique. There's no one specific strategy that's going to work for every single product. So it's not that the older videos that I made are not good. All of my PPC videos are very, very good, and 85% of them I would say are extremely up to date. It's just that what's happened over the last year and a half, I realized that when I first started, obviously I lived in the bubble of our products. And the more you coach and the more products that you see, the more you understand how each product really is different. And therefore, today's video is going to be showing you the need for each campaign and hoping that that will also help you to understand what's right for your product. Also remember that a lot of it is actually trial and error as well. And then I just showed here, so I've written here one PPC strategy for all products, and I've just shown a few different products. So this, for example, is a nurse scrub shirt. And then here you've got the marshmallow sticks, and then here you've got coasters, and over here you've got a yoga mat. And then here, you've got so many different products, and none of these necessarily will need or will be able to have the exact same PPC structure. So it's important for you to understand that not every single PPC structure is right for every single product, and some may need to be changed a little bit. Something else that has changed for me over the last year is the 10-click rule. I no longer take 10 clicks as an indication for conversion likelihood, as I've realized it is not enough data to try and quote unquote predict if that keyword can convert or not. Today I understand that 10 clicks are not enough to make that decision, and every product is so different. So I have a very, very in-depth search term report video on how to read the data and then what to do with that data. And there'll be a link for that down below, and I'll also put it up right now. In that video, I do say the 10-click rule, and I do urge you today to ignore the 10-click rule. The video that I made is still very, very good. I show you how I color code and how I make changes to my PPC and how I optimize the PPC, etc. The only thing that's really different is after seeing so many products, I've realized that you just can't use 10 clicks as the actual indication of whether you should be targeting that keyword right now or not. Sometimes a product could be, $49.95, and those 10 clicks only cost, let's say, 30 cents. It doesn't make sense to then go ahead and negative exact that product, and it's extremely dynamic. So that is something that I did want to say. So just a little bit of explaining for those of you who do not know. Again, I've got extremely in-depth videos. I've got 2 beginner videos that are like 30 to 40 minutes each. They're very, very in-depth about understanding how PPC works and understanding the different campaigns. But just very briefly, so with automatic campaigns, we are giving Amazon control over which keywords are targeted. Amazon basically uses the information from your product detail page, which means your listing, and your back-end keywords in order to match it to relevant keywords and product pages. Whereas on manual campaigns, you choose the keywords and or product pages you would like to be targeted. With manual campaigns, you have different match types and can target both keywords and product pages. Expect to bid higher as you move from auto to manual, and then the more restricted your targeting gets, most likely the higher that your bidding will be as well. Now in the step-by-step videos, I explain very in-depth each one of these match types, and I explain everything, like I said, in depth. So if you don't really understand what I'm talking about, you should watch those videos first. I took this image from Amazon, from Seller Central, so that you can see the pyramid. So it starts with automatic campaigns, and then we go into broad, and then we go into phrase, and then we go into exact. Automatic campaigns, like we said, you basically are letting Amazon automatically choose what kind of keywords to target. Broad campaign is the least restricted out of the manual campaigns, and then phrase is a little bit more restricted, and then exact, Amazon's going to target the exact phrase or search term that you have put in. Before we get into the structure and before we move on, some important information that you need to know. So first of all, your listing should be fully optimized. That means your title should be optimized, your images should be amazing and ready. Your back-end keywords need to be on point. You need to make sure that you have amazing bullet points and that you have a great description. I have a video I have 2 videos on listing optimization, and they will also be down below, or maybe they'll come up now. Tools you need in order to do this. In my opinion, you need HELIUM 10 and obviously Amazon, but you do need HELIUM 10 because that is where I always get most of my keyword data. Now I'm brand registered, therefore I also have brand analytics, but HELIUM 10 gives you a lot more keyword data. And therefore it's not accurate keyword data the same way that brand analytics keyword data is, but you'll get way more data using HELIUM 10, either Magnet or Cerebro. So I encourage you to, if you're not signed up to HELIUM 10, you have a code here for HELIUM 10 so that you can get 10% off. Now, in last year's launch video, I went in depth and also just showing how I would choose what kind of keywords to target. I'm not going to do that in this video, otherwise it's going to be way too long. But in the next PPC video that I will bring out, I will show you how I would choose, depending on a product, what kind of keywords I should be targeting. Can I target the main keyword? Am I able to target the main keyword? Am I not? That'll be in the next video, or you can go back and watch last year's launch video and fast forward to the part where I actually speak about that. Okay, something important that I want everyone to know, believe it or not, magic does not exist, and I am not a magician. And I say this because a lot of people think that if you watch a video or if you have a coaching call or whatever it may be, that one person is going to magically be able to make your situation a lot better. And I, as a coach, an Amazon mentor and a coach, I do put out a lot of fires, meaning I honestly feel like I should be a firewoman, because a lot of people who may have failing products or are in a sticky situation or don't understand PPC may come to me and think that in one call, I'm going to magically make everything be better. Remember that making changes in your structure, making changes with your product, things like that is something that also takes time, and PPC is not something that happens overnight, and there's a lot of things that are extremely dependent on whether you're going to be able to fix a situation or what the outcome is going to be. All right, let's begin. So first off, I'd like for you to understand the logic behind what I do. So if you've ever had a coaching call with me, I've probably done this as an example using my water bottle, because all of my coaching calls are done through Zoom, so we see each other. And I usually use my water bottle and turn it into a pyramid. So I decided to actually turn it into a pyramid this time. So I have, I'm not going to say developed, but I have my own 3-tier strategy. And what that means is, number 1, I'm going to creep up on my competitors. Number 2, I'm then going to attack them. And number 3, I'm going to dominate. I prefer to, first of all, target and rank the keywords that are the most describing keywords that mostly describe my product. And these are usually going to be the less competitive and the cheaper keywords. Some people will call them longer tails. Now, I used to call them longer tails as well, but sometimes your longer tails are actually your main keywords. Therefore, I'm not going to call it a longer tail. I'm going to call it the keywords that describe exactly what my product is, or ASINs of products that sell exactly what I sell. These would be keywords that I believe that I can rank on from day one, and ASINs that I compete against from day one. Once I've ranked in the tier 1 keywords, then I'll go in for the attack. And I will allow myself to target the slightly less restricted keywords and ASINs that I actually can compete against. What that means is, once I've ranked and got the sales velocity from the tier 1 keywords, I can then start working on keywords that are not just only describing my product. So for example, if in tier 1 I was selling a water bottle, and my water bottle happens to be pink and it has a motivational quote on it, I may have targeted the tier 1 keyword, may have been something along the lines of woman's pink motivational water bottle. That keyword exactly describes what my product is. Therefore, if someone has searched that keyword, I'm more likely to get a sale on it rather than just the keyword pink water bottle. Once I have, like I said, ranked on these keywords, then I'll move on to these keywords that this keyword in tier 2, which is the attack, could be a keyword, for example, like pink water bottle or woman's pink water bottle, without the motivational keyword added onto that. It's a little less restricted. Now, I want you to know that not always will I go tier 1 and then tier 2. Sometimes tier 1 and 2 I will do from day 1 in the very beginning. It really depends on the product, and it really depends on how confident I am that I'm able to actually stay ranked on page 1 without PPC as well. The purpose of PPC is to push your organic ranking. And if you've watched my other videos, you should know this by now. The purpose initially at launch, we're talking about launch in this video and only about launch. I'm not talking to you about other stages of PPC here. And other videos, I talk about it, and I even have a video on once you've launched what your next steps should be, and I'll make sure that comes up now. So if I'm targeting a keyword for a rank purpose, if the purpose of that keyword is for me to rank on it, I need to be able to rank on it without PPC as well. If I was to stop my PPC and that's it, I'm not going to get any sales anymore, it means that I'm probably not able to compete against that keyword. Okay, so again, it's product dependent, but then only then do I move into tier 3, which is my dominate. This is where I want to dominate. Here I will go after my main keywords and the complementary keywords to the product. So for example, here it could be women's water bottle, fitness water bottle, etc. For water bottles specifically, I don't think I would have gone for fitness water bottle, but for example, women's water bottle or something along those lines, which would probably be one of the main keywords. And a complementary keyword could have been a keyword like women's fitness accessories. Now, obviously, I would not actually target women's fitness accessories. It's just the first thing that came to mind, but I am going to have an example for you very shortly. Like I said in the original launch video that I made, I actually go in and I show you, and I actually use a water bottle as an example. I actually show you how I choose whether I can or cannot target my main keywords, because you need to take into account that because, you know, we all have such different products. I specifically teach people who are in my product research and sourcing course to find niche products, to actually build a brand around niches specifically. So those types of products many times can actually target their main keywords from day one. But keywords or products that are more saturated in a more saturated niche, or that are a bit more broader, you may not be able to target your main keywords even in the first, 3 to 4 months. So I will make a separate video on that. Like I said, for now you can watch that other video and fast forward to that part if you would like. I encourage you to take a screenshot of this and refer back to it, because it's very important in my opinion, and you'll understand why very soon. All right, so here I have gone to Amazon and I typed in gold eye patches. And you can see here, this is a sponsored brand ad. This used to be called a headline ad. And over here we have 4 sponsored ads, and then these here are then the organic ranking ads. Here is where you have the most visibility, especially number 1. The number 1 spot is also the number 1 spot from mobile. Number 2, 3, and 4 will either be on later on page 1 from mobile, or even on page 2. When I am going after a keyword, especially if it's for ranking, I definitely want to be in the top 4, and I usually definitely want to be at the top spot. This is why I will usually start with the easier keywords. The ones that I know that as long as I'm going to be seen, I'm going to be able to get a sale because I can compete against that keyword. And then I will work my way up to the main keywords. Most of the sales happen on this front row on page 1. Okay, so if you've been watching me for a while, you know that I talk about purpose and the purpose of each campaign. If not, then here is the explanation to that. For me, every single campaign has a purpose. If you don't know why you are running a specific campaign, you are basically driving blindfolded. You have to know why you have a campaign running so that you can later on go and optimize it and make changes to it. So you can see here I have 6 different types of campaigns. The first one is called a discovery campaign. The discovery campaign's purpose is to discover search terms that you may be able to either rank on or to target. Once you discover those keywords, you then move them into a more restricted campaign for further trial and error and for more efficient bidding strategies. The next type of campaign that I have is a sales campaign. It is a sales-driven campaign, meaning that I'm focusing mostly on velocity from these keywords. The next one is a rank campaign. The main purpose of a rank campaign is to rank for that search term and then to also be able to stay ranked. I also have brand awareness campaigns. They're usually not at launch. It depends if it's your first product or if it's not your first product. But a brand awareness campaign is usually a campaign dedicated to being seen and getting your brand in front of relevant buyers. Even if that means at a higher ACOS, this is usually for more advanced sellers or usually at a more advanced stage. And the next type of campaign that I have is called a real estate campaign. That's what I call it. So remember that when we have digital shelving, the more real estate we have on a page, the better. So a real estate campaign is dedicated to owning more real estate on a specific search term or an ASIN, just so others won't appear there, or to make sure that I'm in all the places that my competitors are. This type of campaign is more aggressive and it's usually done at scale. Basically a real estate campaign, well, I've obviously made the name up, but a real estate campaign basically means I care less about the conversion on those specific keywords or ASIN. I'm there to be there so that another competitor won't be there. Again, it's more aggressive and it's for later on. And the next campaign is the under the radar campaign. I used to call this campaign a cost saver. Many of you will know it as the ACOS saver. I have now got a few different types of ACOS saver campaigns. That's why I'm just going to call it the under the radar. So basically this means that you're doing very low bid campaigns. Usually these low bid campaigns will have a low CTR, a low click-through rate, as they usually will target much broader or irrelevant keywords as well. Basically you run the low bid campaigns just to see if you can get a sale at a very, very low bid. The only purpose of these types of campaigns are to get low bid and low cost sales. It's not a sales driven campaign. So a lot of you who know about the ACOS saver, those types of campaigns are not there to get you heaps and heaps of sales. They're there to see if you can get a sale and get sales from keywords that no one else is really bidding on. So that is what an under the radar campaign would mean. Okay, and the structure that you have been waiting for. So this is the PPC launch structure as I see it today, after coaching so many people, after seeing so many products and not just living in the bubble of my own products. So I've tried to make it visually easy to understand. I know that there looks like there is a lot going on here, but it really shouldn't be that difficult. So this is on the left-hand side, this is stage 1, meaning this is at launch, and then on the right-hand side, it's at stage 2, after your first optimization. So we'll start with on the left-hand side, which with stage 1, basically we are going to have a discovery campaign, which will be either an auto campaign or a broad campaign. For some products, it may be right to have both. With the automatic campaign, you want to make sure that you have negative keywords so that the auto won't trigger irrelevant search terms or ASINs. Remember today you can put in negative ASINs. So if you already know of an ASIN that there is absolutely no way that you can compete against, you can already put it as a negative ASIN, or you could choose to wait and just see if Amazon even ends up showing your product on that ASIN. And certain search terms that you, for example, if you sell a beauty product that says dermatologist approved, and that could somehow also trigger different dermatologist or medical based keywords, then maybe it would be a good idea to negative phrase a keyword like medical or whatever it may be. Or you could wait to see the first report, obviously, and then add those negatives. But you really need to be careful, because there are certain types of products where an auto campaign as a discovery could be a disaster. And those are the types of products where the keywords that you have in your listing share the exact same keywords with totally irrelevant products, and then that can be a little bit of a disaster. So if that is the type of product that you have, then I would recommend beginning with a broad instead, and just not even starting with an automatic yet. And then with a broad campaign, you're going to be using root keywords. This way I'm forcing Amazon to target the keywords that have the root keywords I've chosen in them. So for example, here in a broad campaign, a root keyword would be, if I was selling let's just say a women's fitness water bottle, then here it would be women's fitness water bottle, or pink women's bottle, or whatever it may be. I'm forcing Amazon to target the exact keyword that I'm giving it, but because it's a broad campaign, it can be in any variation of that search term. So if I put in, let's say, pink women's water bottle, Amazon may target fitness water bottle pink for women or something like that. So some products it will make sense to have either or, some products it'll make sense to have both. On top of that, we're going to have two sales campaigns. One is going to be an exact campaign and one is going to be an ASIN targeted campaign. These campaigns are keywords or ASINs that I have hand picked. Obviously, this is going to be a campaign of its own and this is going to be a campaign of its own. This exact campaign will be hand-picked keywords from my own keyword research, keywords that I predict that I'm going to be able to get sales from. Remember, it is trial and error. These would usually be either in tier 1 or 2. It does depend on your product. For many products, it would be most likely that here would be tier 1 keywords rather than tier 2 or 3. But for some products, you may be able to target tier 1 and 2 here already. ASIN targeting, same thing. They're going to be around 10 ASINs that I'm going to choose that I believe that I can compete on. These ASINs would be either products that already have reviews, but they are bad reviews. They have less than 4.5 or 4 ratings. They're extremely overpriced. They have a really bad listing. Okay, those types of ASINs are the one that I will originally choose. And remember that if I'm running an auto campaign, it'll also target ASINs for me. So I will learn more about more and more ASINs, and I will always be able to then negative exact those ASINs here and move them to an ASIN campaign later. On top of that, I'm going to have the most important one, which is the ranking campaign. These are search terms that I believe that I can convert on and stay ranked on. Staying ranked is the point here. These are going to be search terms that are my exact product, unless you sell a product that is super niche and you can already go for your main keywords. But if not, then these types of search terms in this ranking campaign would usually be search terms that explain what my product is exactly, or the less competitive keywords. Then I'm going to have 2 under the radar campaigns. One is going to be an auto low bid. Now, I used to call this the ACOS saver campaign. I'm now calling it the low bid auto with high budget. And this is the type of campaign, the only campaign that I will ever tell you that you can set and forget about. This is where you want to put a super low bid of somewhere between 10 to 20 cents, depending on your usual bids, and a really high budget. And the reason we're giving it a really high budget and really low bids is basically to fool the algorithm. We're telling Amazon, hey, we're willing to spend a lot of money on this budget, but then on the other hand, the bids are really, really low. This is not a sales-driven campaign. This campaign is there to get you a sale or 2 or 3 here and there at a low ACOS type of campaign where it's going to be bidding on keywords that no one else is really bidding on. It's going to show up in time frames that no one really is in front of the computer, but it's going to catch a few sales a month, and we're happy with that. The other under the radar campaign is a Spanish campaign. For some of you, this may even turn into a very successful campaign and not just an under the radar campaign. So this is a campaign where you want to put in Spanish keywords, and obviously you're going to have to do keyword research for that. For some of you, you won't do it at launch. You may only do it later on, but some of you may decide to actually do it at launch. But it is important to have a Spanish campaign because Spanish is the second most spoken language in America. So after having these campaigns at the same time, it's not that I start with one and then I add the rest. Everything on the left-hand side here, unless you're going to do either or, okay, is going to be run at the same time. After you've had enough impressions, notice that I'm not telling you a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I used to say wait a minimum of 14 days. But what I've noticed is there's also the types of products that people have given enough budget that even after 7 days, there's already enough impressions to start making a decision and to start optimizing. So it's not about the days, it's about the impressions. If you've got thousands of impressions, it's already enough to go in and say, well, wait a minute, what's happening? Obviously, impressions and clicks. If you're not going to look on the impression side of it, then yes, give it a minimum of 2 weeks and then start doing your optimization. You should still be going in every single day or every 2 days just for optimizing for irrelevant keywords. Okay, irrelevant means a keyword or an ASIN that is not your product. Not a keyword that you have got 5 or 6 clicks on and now you're scared so you're going to pause it. No, you don't touch those for 2 weeks. If you're going to go in and you're going to do anything, it's only to negative exact or get rid of keywords that are irrelevant to your product only. The first optimization you're going to do is either once you've had thousands of impressions or after 14 days, whatever comes first. Then we're going to move into stage 2, which now we have enough data or initial data. Obviously, we're going to have more data over time and we'll continue making changes. And also the structure may change and the strategy may change over time depending on at what level we're at. So we're going to be making another ranking campaign or adding these keywords to this campaign. Okay, it depends on how many keywords we initially put in here. I personally like to put a maximum of 10 keywords per campaign. But for some people that I've coached, I have put in up to 20. It depends on the product and it depends on the budget and it depends on the type of keywords that we have there. But my rule of thumb is a maximum usually of around 20. And I'm not going to say minimum because I have campaigns that are single keyworded campaigns, but I would say up to 20 should be the max. And I usually put up to 10. So we're going to have this ranking campaign and it's going to be a new exact campaign, like I said, or we're going to add the keywords there. And these are keywords that have converted repeatedly from the discovery campaigns. I'm going to add them to the exact campaigns. On a note of that, notice that I wrote on the bottom left here, you only negative a search term or an ASIN in a discovery campaign when moving keywords once the new one, that should say one, starts getting impressions in the new campaign. What I mean by that is if you have now seen that you've got 4 or 5 keywords that have consistently converted and you'd now like to say, thank you very much, discovery campaign, I'm going to now target this in an exact campaign. You don't actually negative exact it in your initial campaigns until the new campaigns start to actually get traction. Okay, it'll take a few days for that to happen and only then you negative exact them in your discovery. Any keywords that you place in exact campaigns, you can negative exact in your discovery campaigns because your discovery campaigns have already discovered those keywords, but you only negative exact those keywords after they have traction in their new campaigns or in the campaigns that they're in. On top of that, I'm probably going to have a few single keyworded or ASIN campaigns. So keywords or ASINs that have taken up a lot of impressions will usually get their own campaign depending on how relevant they are and how likely I am to get sales from them or for impression control. If I have put in 10 keywords in a campaign and I see that one keyword is getting thousands of impressions and all the rest are getting hardly any, I would probably not move that keyword that's getting thousands of impressions, but rather pause all the other keywords and move them to a new campaign. Because if that one keyword is already doing so well within that campaign, I'd rather leave it there. It's already got history in that campaign, and then I'll move those other keywords. So I'm usually going to have a few single worded campaigns. Sometimes I could even have up to 10, meaning one campaign, one keyword only. And usually though, those are keywords that are either very, very important to me or keywords that are getting heaps and heaps of impressions, but I really want to control the bid there. And I don't want those impressions to have an impact on any other impressions in other campaigns. Apart from that, I'm also going to make another sales campaign for ASIN targeting. So I'm going to add converting ASINs from my auto campaign to a new ASIN campaign or to the original ASIN campaign. Again, it depends on how many were there. And I'm also going to add another under the radar campaign, which is going to be a misspelling campaign. So I'm going to add misspellings that Amazon does not auto-complete or auto-correct. Sorry, it should say auto-correct there, not auto-complete. HELIUM 10 has a tool called Misspellinator. You could use that. In my experience, most keywords today, most spelling mistakes Amazon today will auto-correct, but there are still keywords that it does not auto-correct. So if you pick up on misspellings from your discovery campaigns, you can most definitely create a misspellings campaign as well. Sometimes you can get, another 10 to 20 sales a month just from misspellings or even more. So you definitely should have that as well. This is what a normal PPC structure would look like. This PPC structure is what I've used for hundreds of my clients. Again, there is no right or wrong. Everything is product dependent. I am trying to give you as much information as possible and as much logic that stands behind each campaign to try and help you to understand what's going to be right for your product. Of course, you could book a call with me. Just remember that everything is, at the end of the day, trial and error, and you will learn your product better over time. And also remember that your product listing is going to improve over time as you get more reviews, and your conversion will get better as well. Now, the next PPC structure is a variation structure. This is one of the questions that I usually get asked the most. So this is what a variation structure would look like. These would all be at the very same time. So I'm going to take the main ASIN and I'm going to create a discovery order or a discovery broad, again, whatever makes more sense. I'm going to have an exact sales and an ASIN targeting sales where I've just got the main ASIN in there. I'm going to have an exact rank and 2 under the radar, exactly the same as the top. It's just going to have the main ASIN in there. Now, there are some people who would actually put all the ASINs in there, and you can do that. It is honestly, again, product dependent. Some products may have variations that are not as popular, and Amazon may be showing those on important keywords, and then you may not be getting good conversions, and that can be a bit confusing. That is why I usually put the main sellers in there, the main ASINs, the ones that I've predicted are going to get the best sales. And then on top of that, I'm also going to have per variation campaigns. Each variation will have 3 campaigns just for that one variation. It'll be one variation specific broad. So each variation will have its own discovery keywords with root keywords that describe the exact product. So if I sell a balloon set and I have a pink and purple set, the root keywords would have pink and purple or pink or girls or unicorn or mermaid, any keywords that describe that exact variation. And then if I had a green and blue, then I would probably target keywords like boys balloons, green, blue, dinosaurs. I don't know, it depends on the keywords that I'd find, but keywords that are going to describe the buyer avatar for that specific variation. On top of that, I'm also going to have an exact campaign and an ASIN targeted campaign. Again, targeting the exact descriptive keywords that describe that exact product. So here again, if I had different color, different variation balloons, and one of the variations was pink and purple, then I may have targeted here, I may have handpicked the keyword girls, mermaid, birthday party balloons, okay, for example. And here I may have targeted exactly my competitors as well. So that is how I usually do with variations. Sometimes there may be very close variations, and for example, if you're selling, different types of mugs, let's say, and you've got one black and one gray and one white and one blue and one yellow, etc., I may have put the black and the gray in the same campaign. Everything here is product dependent. That's the logic behind the structure, and then you can decide how to take this and tweak it to make sense for your actual product. And of course, we can't ignore, there are some of you that'll be watching this who also are brand registered. So on top of the initial structure, I would obviously also have multiple video ad campaigns. So these are extremely low priced right now because not that many people are using video ads. The bids are ridiculously low. They can even be as low as 20 cents, even lower, or really important keywords costing like 70 cents, where if you were targeting it in sponsored products, it could have been $3. So video ads are working amazing for us with our products and also amazing with people that I've coached as well. So I highly recommend, if you're brand registered, to have multiple video ads as well. Sponsored products, I would have both product collection, so keyword targeting and product targeting ads as well. Sponsored display ads, if I had the ability to use both product targeting and audience, I would use both. And obviously, if you're brand registered, then you should be using Amazon Posts. Amazon Posts is free. It's basically free advertising on your competitors' listings. I have a video, a step-by-step tutorial on how to use Amazon Posts. If I can, I'll put the link up now. If not, the link will be below, and you can watch that as well. Because it's extremely important that you understand how to negative target keywords as well. I just want to really quickly explain it. So when you want to prevent a campaign or an ad group from targeting a keyword due to its irrelevancy or non-conversion, or that keyword is being targeted in another ad campaign or in another campaign, then you want to go into negative targeting, negative keywords, and either add it as a negative exact or a negative phrase. A negative phrase is going to prevent the exact keyword from being targeted, allowing for also additional words before or after the phrase. If I was to put as a negative phrase, women's pink bottle, then any keyword that has women's pink bottle in that exact phrase, in that exact order, if any keyword comes up, it's not going to target it. And if I was to negative exact a keyword, then it's the exact keyword I've put. Only the phrase that I put in will not be targeted. Or else in the phrase, any keywords that have that keyword will not be targeted at all. And in a negative exact, only the exact keyword that you put in will be targeted, will be negative targeted. So meaning Amazon won't target it. And I did mention this earlier on that you would now also have negative products in auto campaigns. So you would also put into your auto campaign negative product targeting, meaning if you don't want Amazon to target a specific ASIN, then you would add that here and make sure that Amazon does not target it within that specific campaign anymore. Some important things that you need to know. It's not about how many days your PPC is running before you start to make changes. It's about the data. It's about how many impressions and clicks your ads have. I said this earlier, I used to give time frames. Today I understand it's more about the impressions and the clicks rather than time frames. But if it's easier for you, then at least wait 2 weeks until you start making drastic changes. Or if you're understanding what I'm talking about, then wait until you have at least a couple of thousand impressions, and obviously that those impressions have clicks as well. Something else is important that you guys know is it usually takes between 60 to 90 days to understand your PPC and to scale correctly with your ads and figure things out. PPC is all about trial and error, and it takes time. The reason I put your here in capitals is because a lot of people will go to Facebook groups and ask questions about their PPC campaigns when in reality, the answer that someone is giving them doesn't make sense for their specific product. We need to remember that we all sell different products. Hopefully, no one else sells the exact product that you sell, and their PPC structure is not going to make sense possibly for yours. So it's normal for it to take up to 3 months for you to really understand how and figure out how your PPC is working. Of course, I also do one-on-one coaching calls, and I actually go in and look at your reports and see what is right according to your product, in my opinion. And you're welcome to book a call. But it's important for me that you know that you can't expect your ACoS to be super low within a week. Okay, it's something that takes time. Know that 20% of your keywords will make for 80% of your sales, and that is normal. The goal is initially to rank where you can and work your way up so you build more organic sales. That is why I have that pyramid. That is why I start with the easier keywords and work my way up. It's normal that you'll see that only around 20% of your keywords are going to be the ones that are actually getting you those sales. Another important thing for you to know is it's not just about the bidding strategy. Amazon wants to show the right product to the right buyer at the right time. I said this last year, some of you got it, some of you didn't. Amazon wants to make sure, Amazon has so much information on its buyers. They know everything about their path to making a decision to buying. They know their IP address. They know where they want their products delivered. They know everything there is to know about them. And they're going to understand the A9 algorithm is built in a way to show a buyer a product that the algorithm believes is going to convert for that specific buyer. So if a buyer is consistently clicking on pinks, and you have variation campaigns, Amazon may show your pink one rather than a purple one, okay? Or if you don't have any stock in a specific fulfillment center, but I do have, and that fulfillment center is close to a specific shopper, Amazon will probably show my ad and not yours. So there are other things apart from bidding that the A9 algorithm does take into consideration. The bidding side of it is higher from what I know, but it's not just about the bidding. Sometimes people will try to be extremely aggressive and it just won't help them. And that means that there's something else that is stopping your ad from being shown. Now I will add, if you have set up your campaigns and a few days has passed and you have 0 impressions whatsoever, first of all, make sure on the top right that you have changed the date range to the proper date range. If you've done that and you still have no impressions, there may be an issue with your advertising for that product. Know that products that have curse words, alcohol keywords or alcohol in general, and cannabis or marijuana based keywords, tobacco based keywords, a lot of different types of keywords that Amazon will not let you advertise. And sometimes it's Amazon's mistake because it's the algorithm picking up something that it shouldn't. So if you see that you have no impressions, contact Amazon and say, hey, why are my campaigns not working, and get them to investigate. All right, some brief bidding understanding. So Amazon determines the ad selection and placement by 2 things: relevancy and bid amount. Ads displayed to shoppers will be based on the combination of both sellers' bids and their ads' relevance to that specific shopper's search. The way the bidding auction works is the highest bidder will pay slightly more than the second highest bidder. So when you go in to create your bids, it'll look something like this. You will have a suggested bid, which is this one at the top or this one that's already here, and then you'll have your bid range. So suggested bids are the range of bids calculated from a group of the most recent winning bids for advertisements that were like yours for those keywords. So it's the most recent winning bids for advertisements to products like yours. This is why I always say that you have to keep an eye on your bids, because bids can change from day to day or from week to week. So you need to keep an eye on your bids. That is a suggested bids. The bid range is the range of winning bids for most ads in your product category. These are estimates of bids that have been used by other sellers advertising products. It should say similar to yours as well. Okay, so this would be the bid range. These numbers could change a week from now. They could change a month from now. They could change tomorrow. I'm not telling you to go in and check your bids every single day, but maybe you were winning a bid at 79 cents a week ago, but the demand for that keyword has gone up a lot, and now you're going to have to up your bid if you actually want to get impressions. So you always have to keep an eye on your bids as well. I hope by you understanding this, you can also understand when people reach out to me on Facebook or ask in Facebook groups, what should my bid be? It's impossible to tell you what your bid should be without seeing everything, because some people actually do answer people and say, start with 50 cents, start with $2, start with this. Every single product is going to be different. Every single product will have different ranges. Okay? My rule of thumb is I will usually only place the higher bids on the keywords that I'm trying to rank for, and I will add placement to it. And I'm going to explain to you placement in a second. And the other keywords, I today would usually start with the suggested bid range and work my way up. If I'm not getting enough traction, I'd put my bid up. If I'm still not getting enough traction, I'd put my bid up. Some other people may work differently, and they'll work the opposite. They may start at the highest suggested bid, a couple of cents more, which is what I actually used to do, and then work my way down. I've over the past year and a half noticed that you can do either. You can either start on the higher or at the middle, either work your way down or work your way up. It is product dependent. It's extremely difficult to tell people exactly what you should bid. But for the keywords that you're trying to rank on, those are the ones I'll give more aggressive bidding on. So a brief understanding of your bidding strategies. I usually will actually use the placements mostly only for ranking campaigns. So when you're bidding there, this is new, this started around very early 2019. I can just see it says here also January 19 types of bids. It was always, you didn't have this type of bidding strategy. So you're going to see dynamic bids down only, dynamic bids up down, and fixed bids. And this usually won't be showing. You'll have to click on this for it to come up. You're going to need to choose what your bidding strategy is going to be like. This also depends on the purpose of your campaign. I'm just going to explain to you what they are, and then I hope that this will help you to make your decision. Dynamic bid down only means that if, for example, you put in $1 as your bid, Amazon will take that dollar as the maximum amount that you're willing to pay for that specific keyword on the ads that they've given you there. If Amazon thinks that you're less likely to convert on that keyword, they're automatically going to lower your bid. That's what happens when you do dynamic bid down only. You're allowing Amazon only to lower your bid, whereas in dynamic bids up down, you're allowing Amazon to go up to 100% more. So if you put your bid at $1 and then you've put dynamic bids up down, you're telling Amazon, I allow you to raise my bid by up to another $1 because that's 100% of $1, or down by 100%. A lot of you have learned from people who don't understand bidding strategies and always use dynamic bids up down, not knowing that when you're putting a dynamic bid up down and your bid's $2, you're actually allowing Amazon to spend up to $4. So it's really important that you understand that. And then when you have fixed bids, Amazon is going to use the exact bid. It's not going to change it, not up and not down. It's going to use your exact bid that you've set. A lot of times it's right to use fixed bids for a product. Most of the times I will use dynamic bids down only. I hardly ever use up down. These are the two that I usually use, and it depends on my campaign. If I have targeted my ranking campaign, I've gone and used dynamic bids down only, and I see it's not really working on Amazon for some reason, I may change my bidding structure to fixed bids and force Amazon to use my exact bid, my higher bid, and then I may also use that with placement. So placement, you're going to have top of search or product pages. This, we're talking about the very top of page 1. Okay, when you're talking about placement, for top of search, we're only talking about page 1 at the very top. So when you are adding a placement, you can add up to 900%. You can see that here. If your bid is $1 and you've gone in and put, let's say, 100%, you're telling Amazon, I'm willing to spend up to $2 to get the top of search of page 1. If you've gone in and put in 200%, you're telling Amazon, I'm willing to go up to $3. Okay, my original bid was $1. I'm adding 200% here. It means I'm telling Amazon I'm willing to pay up to $3 to be at the top of search. And product pages is for the placement that you see when you originally go down on page 1 before you need to click to the right. So this is you also giving Amazon a high percentage to be shown there as well. So I wanted to give you an example of what placement may look like. If I put into this campaign a bid for a specific keywords of 79 cents, and then I added to that a top of search placement of 100%, that means 79 cents plus 100% would equal to $1.58. And this is me telling Amazon this is the highest I'm willing to go in order to get the top of search. This means that I'm willing to pay up to, it won't mean that I'm going to pay $1.58. It means I'm going to pay up to $1.58 to be at the top of search. I usually use placement only for ranking campaigns. That's me. Some people will tell you to put a really low bid and an extremely high placement. It is a lot of trial and error, but I mostly use placement. I mostly want to be at the very top for my ranking campaigns because my ranking campaigns are usually extremely targeted at my exact buyer avatar. If you're going to show up at a top of search of a keyword that isn't as relevant to your product or isn't specifically 100% targeting your buyer avatar, you may get a lot of clicks without conversions. I specifically, that's the reason I use placement only for my ranking campaigns. That may change over time. Remember, this is mostly focused around launching. All right, we're very close to the end. Some things that are really important that a lot of people I've seen over time have made this mistake. Efficiency is important. Use portfolios. Each product has its own portfolio. When you go into your dashboard on the top left, you'll see like this here. It'll say create a portfolio. Each product should have its own portfolio. If you mean to only ever sell one product, then you could have campaign portfolios. I personally wouldn't, but I totally believe in efficiency. Make sure that each product has its own portfolios. If you're also running brand campaigns, then a brand campaign can also have its own portfolio, meaning sometimes you may have brand campaigns that have 3 or 4 different products in them. Those campaigns will have their own portfolio. You can call them something along the lines of brand campaigns. Variations I usually put into one portfolio. Okay, so if I'm selling, 3 different colors of a water bottle, they'll still be under the one portfolio. Some people may have a portfolio for each of them. It's fine, but use portfolios. Name your campaigns efficiently. You cannot change a campaign name later. You can only change an ad group. So name your campaigns in a way that you're going to understand what they are. Remember that later on you may have someone like me or outsource someone else, or yourself. You need to go in and actually optimize your campaigns. How can you optimize your campaigns if you haven't named them correctly, right? So give your campaign names structure. A structure that you know how to follow so that you know the purpose of the campaign and you can find that campaign quickly when you're reading a report. So I name my campaigns, for example, brand name, product, match type, purpose. That could look something like this. My brand name, I'm selling a mask. This is an exact campaign, and the purpose of this campaign is top 3 rank. It's my top 3 keywords that I want to rank for. Okay? Name efficiently. Put 1 match type per campaign, or at least per ad group. I personally put 1 match type per campaign, or at least an ad group for efficiency. Remember that broad and phrase campaigns can have heaps and heaps and heaps of impressions for heaps and heaps and heaps of different keywords. If you're mix matching that, I don't suggest you do it. Okay, you're not going to be able to efficiently optimize that. Give them each their own either ad group or their own campaign. Campaign grouping. So I am extremely efficient when it comes to PPC, and I'm very organized, and sometimes I will also create campaigns that have keyword intent. So what I mean is, let's say I'm selling a specific girl's puzzle. Okay, I can get sales from puzzle-based keywords. I can get sales from the design that's on my puzzle types of keywords, and I could get sales from toys or gift keywords. Many times I'll have multiple keywords and they're all targeting the same type of intended keywords. So what I mean by, for example, let's say my puzzle had a unicorn on it. So I would make a campaign that's based on keywords to do with unicorns. Let's say unicorn puzzle, unicorn gifts, unicorns for girls, whatever it may be. All the unicorn-based keywords I may put in its own campaign, or at least in its own ad group. And then the puzzle-based keywords I would have put in its own ad group or a campaign. And then the toy-based keywords, or toys for toddlers, toys for 3-year-olds, I may have put in its own campaign. This is just going to give me more control when it comes to efficiently optimizing my campaigns and understanding quickly where I'm getting a lot of sales from. I may find that most of my sales are coming from the unicorn-based keywords, and then I know to later focus on that, and it's easy for me to figure that out because I've grouped them. It's more advanced stuff. It does depend on your product. I hope you guys are understanding this and it's making sense. Remember, you can always ask me a question or book a call or ask in my Facebook group. Okay, so what that would look like is you'd have a portfolio. When you click on that portfolio, all of the campaigns under that specific product will show up there. And then when you click on a specific campaign, if you are using ad groups, then your different ad groups under that campaign will show up there. Okay, you want to name everything in a way that it's easy for you to understand because you're the one optimizing it. So it would be product name, and the campaign name would be named correctly, and then the ad group. This will make your life a lot more easier if you are efficient with the way that you set up your campaigns initially. It'll make life a lot easier for you when it comes to optimizing using Excel sheets. All right, thanks for sticking with me up to here. I mentioned a lot of things that you, if this is your first time watching a PPC video, may not have any idea what I'm talking about. I have a poll playlist with really in-depth videos in this YouTube channel. I've got 2 beginner-based videos. This one is a newer one, the first one on the left at the top. It is a beginner-based one. This one is step-by-step. It's 50 minutes long. I explain everything there is to know about every match type, or about everything to do with PPC. I explain it here. This is last year's launch PPC video. You may want to still watch that because I show how I use Helium 10 to choose my keywords. This is a PPC video for ACOS versus TACOS. I didn't really talk about ACOS and TACOS here at all, so I suggest that you watch this video. This video here is an important one for you to watch. It is how I actually go in and optimize my campaigns using my search term reports. So watch this video, it's an important one for you. Once you've launched, if your PPC launch sucks, you should watch this video as well. How to optimize your PPC faster. So here I show how to optimize your PPC using downloading actual search term reports. And here I show how to optimize your PPC using Amazon's data. Product targeting or ASIN targeting, you can see that here. And remember how I said that if you're brand registered and you have posts, then this is a full step-by-step tutorial. So guys, there are a lot of videos on this channel around PPC and around advertising on Amazon. And I highly suggest that you watch these videos of mine. There's a whole playlist on it. Especially if anything I said today did not make sense, then make sure that you watch the 2 beginner ones because it will help you to understand what I was talking about. That's it. Thank you for sticking with me up to now. I know it was a long video, but I do hope that it helped you and that you understand what launching should look like and why the purpose of each campaign is important. If you would like to reach out to me, you can reach out to me through Facebook at Official Sharon Evan or through Instagram. I post a lot, especially on stories, so you can find me there as well. If you're not part of my FBA Alphas Facebook group, then you're really missing out. I really recommend that you join our community. This is what it looks like here. You can look for the group here. And if you are interested in one-on-one coaching with me, you can go to www.sharonevan.com/coaching. and you can book a call with me there. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit that like button so it can really help the algorithm know that you liked it. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I can't wait to see you all in the next video.